You are at the garage, waiting to get your tires rotated. The tiny LCD in the corner is playing some daytime TV program about a dolphin that needs dialysis. Your phone is at 11% battery, and it's hot in your hand.
Nice day.
Oh shit, he's talking to you.
What do you say?
Yep.
Good work. He knows you heard him,
And you agree that it's nice out. What's your follow-up?
Yep. Real hot. Yep.
Excellent. He's buying it. He thinks you're normal.
He doesn't know you're thinking about climate disaster pretty much all the time.
You see the game?
Red alert. Buy some time.
Which game?
Stupid question. You didn't watch any of the games.
Pats? No, how was it? Good. Good season.
Wow. You really let him down. Another conversation failed. Another connection severed. Another 40 minutes staring at the empty parking lot. All because you failed the sports check.
It's far from the first time.
But will it be the last?
When I confront a thing that is tremendously popular but out of my wheelhouse, I can usually understand why people like it. I'm never going to be a Taylor Swift guy, but I get the appeal of simple chord progressions and pop hooks and cathartic lyrics about messy breakups. I'm never going to be a gotcha guy, but I get the instinct to hoard little trinkets of beautiful anime women. But I can't get my head around football. I understand the premise, but not the appeal. It's difficult to parse from like a visual perspective. When the players line up in complex formations, I don't understand how those are different from the other complex formations. When a play succeeds or fails, I don't really know why. And there's so much stop and go, so much downtime. Still, it is really, really popular. And that's why I want to understand football. Being alive means talking to people you don't know. And when you're done talking about the weather, the next safest thing to talk about seems to be sports. And the most popular sport, pretty much everywhere in the United States, is football. Its enjoyment cuts across socioeconomic, age, and cultural boundaries. And while its audience is historically male, a growing number of women are getting on board. It brings communities together on a regional and hyper-local basis. It seems to be the medium of normal conversation. And if you follow it, you can have something in common with your boss, your dentist, or the guy who works at the tire shop. And for my whole life, I have not had that. But what if I could unlock it? Through gaming. I started thinking about football again because I overheard some football-enjoying friends talking about how good the new NCAA football game is. They said that it might be the best football game EA has made in decades. And I thought, hey, I like good games. Well-designed games have historically gotten me into interests I would have otherwise found impenetrable. Dirt 2 sent me down a rally car rabbit hole that filled my head with facts about manual sequential transmissions and Scandinavian weight transfer techniques. Warhammer Total War had me watching YouTube videos about historical military maneuvers and shaking my damn head at antiquated tactical cock-ups. Can't believe the Ottoman commanders really sacrificed the high ground without scouting the woods for Skanderberg's 3,000 concealed Albanian cavalry. Rookie mistake. So I know I can learn to appreciate a thing by gaming about it, but will it work if that's my explicit goal? And also if that thing is football? The answer may surprise you. My first session with NCAA football got off to an interesting start. I was impressed but a little overwhelmed by the aggressive drumline soundtrack. But what really pushed me into sensory overload was accidentally switching on the menu narrator.
Option is set to mid, option is set, option is set, option is set, option, menu narration option is set to off.
Right out of the gate, the game asks you to pick your favorite team, an assignment that would be easy for anyone except for me, the football baby. I scrolled through the available teams, looking to see if any of them spoke to me. Most of the cool animals were represented. There were 2 teams called the Wolfpack, which I get because wolves are cool, but there were 3 teams called the Aggies, which I don't get. I settled on the Demon Deacons because I couldn't believe they were really called that. Their mascot is a crazy-eyed old guy, and he rides a chopper out onto the field like Undertaker in his American Badass era. Unfortunately, there is no game mode called "Pick this if you want to learn how to play football and why football is fun so you can feel less alienated talking to normal people." So my next move was up to me. I gave the controls a cursory glance and got really stuck on there being a Jurdle button. Jurdle. What is the button to Jurdle?
We've got a terrific matchup for you today, rich in pageantry and tradition, and it ought to be a fantastic clash.
My first exhibition game felt like every attempt I've made to get into football in the past. It was overwhelming, confusing, boring. When I was on offense, I would pick whichever play the computer recommended, then command my quarterback to pitch the football directly at the ground. On defense, I'd have my big guys line up, and then I'd hold the stick in the direction of the other big guys. Their quarterback would get tackled, complete a pass, or not complete a pass. I didn't really feel like my input made much of a difference. I was somehow completely pasting my low-level CPU opponent, but I wasn't having fun. I decided to call it a day. In exhibition matches, you are a nearly omnipotent body-hopping commander, surveying the field from 40 feet in the air.
I am assuming direct control.
It was a level of control I wasn't ready for yet. So the next time I booted up College Football 25, I went with a more personal approach. Aside from CF25 being good, the biggest reason I chose it over Madden was its Road to Glory career mode, where you play as a young prospect who is also kind of new to all of this. My hope was that shepherding a single player through a few games would bring into focus one small piece of the bigger picture that I was missing. Meet Patrick Ball, my avatar in CF25's career mode. Patrick Ball is an 18-year-old college freshman with a hairline of a man who has seen things. I went out for a halfback position because my friends had told me that the running game was especially fun. I also had the choice of starting skill levels, and I went with the second to worst option because as an avid From Software fan, I've experienced the joys of getting good. But when Boston College freshman Patrick Ball pulled up to practice, it became clear that the first challenge was going to be getting off of the bench. College Football 25 does not treat you like the chosen one, some rough gem who waltzes into a starting position. You gotta do your homework. And I mean literally. The basic loop of career mode is choosing how you split your time between studies, socializing, practice, and other stuff. You'll get texts from coaches, teammates, prospective sponsors, and you'll choose how you respond. Will you pay your dues and clean out the senior players' lockers, or will you big time them? All of your choices affect a spread of stats, including your coach's trust, which is what you need to actually get time on the field. What I'm saying is it's football persona. Calling football a turn-based RPG is not an original joke, but NCAA really leans into it. This is Fire Emblem to me. My only time on the turf was practice, represented in College Football 25 by a collection of mini-games. To use another gamer point of reference, it was Football WarioWare. I'd get dropped on a field full of friendly and hostile players, blinking circles and spinning obstacles, and I'd have to figure out what the fuck I was supposed to do using context clues. I was a runner, so I decided to stick to running-type strategies. At first, they went poorly, but through trial and error, I started to figure out what I was supposed to do. And from there, I could extrapolate why that skill would be important in a real game of football. As I ran those drills virtual week after virtual week, I started to feel the first faint tickles of appreciation. This might be obvious to football enjoyers, but I started to realize that running a ball isn't simply about going faster than the guys chasing you. It's kind of a racing game, kind of a spacing game, and kind of a puzzle. You're charting the most efficient course through a field of moving obstacles, predicting their trajectories, and conserving energy. Mechanically, it reminded me of Dark Souls boss runs, and I mean the part when you're running back to a boss after getting killed. You don't want to waste time and Estus on fighting the basic enemies, and spamming dodge roll will bottom out your stamina, so you hold the sprint button and you juke them. You learn how close you can get to enemies while staying out of their attack range, and when they block your path, you bait them away then slip through the opening. You find the brief windows where you can let off of the sprint button and let your stamina refill. The boss run becomes its own mechanically satisfying game within a game. Like more typical Souls combat, it rewards resource management and understanding enemy behaviors, but your tools for dealing with those challenges are different. That's what running the ball feels like in College Football 25, but with a little more consideration towards weight and momentum. Plus, my Dark Souls guy can't do spin moves, dives, funny celebration runs, or jurdles. I'm jurdling. But despite my best efforts, during game time, I was relegated to the sidelines, hunched on my special chair, watching the more virile players running my plays. Months and months into my college ball career, I had not been called up once. It was time for me to call a huddle.
It makes you sit and watch other computer players play the game while you're on the bench. Is this real?
This is my friend and colleague Ryan Simmons of Secret Base, and my guide to college football.
Can you get arrested for DUI? Because that tends to happen more often than you might like.
Oh boy. I called Ryan because even as I made strides in my running game, the big picture was still hazy as hell. I asked him an open-ended question.
How, mechanically does someone like football? Following a team helps, but I think it is just, there's a reason it's the most popular sport in America, because I think it's a reflection of America in ways good and bad. Every weekend or every Thursday, we're going down to watch the football team. It's horribly violent. Then he just kind of stands there with his arms out, looking like the most badass person on the planet. It's also very expensive. It's expensive to watch it on TV. It's expensive to watch it. I think they should also show a full stretch photo of their full body next to a normal 5'9" person. I mean, I was very bad at it. I think because I never really understood what was happening, even when I was playing it. Despite all of that, there are many people who love it. And I think there are a lot of really good things that you can take away from it if you manage to avoid the bad parts. And the bad parts also don't have to be there. And we can work towards making them go away.
Ryan wasn't really down to play the role of uncritical football evangelist, and I get it. But he was kind enough to talk me through some of the stuff College Football 25 doesn't tell you. Who on the field makes what calls, the duties of coaches and defensive coordinators, how player formations correspond to different running or passing strategies. And once we were done talking about all of that, I asked him the real question. Has being able to talk about football helped you, socially?
Absolutely not. No, if anything, I've had the opposite effect. I hate talking about football. I don't think I know enough about football. So when a conversation about football starts, I get very socially anxious because I am worried I'm going to show my ass. Because some people get very obsessed about it.
This was genuinely not the answer I was expecting. And listen, I know we're dealing with a sample size of 1 here, and I could maybe go ask somebody who would tell me something completely different. But as Ryan described his football conversation anxiety, I was like, yes, that would be me too. I don't think I actually believed that sharing the common language of football with a stranger could magically transform me into a conversational genius. I did think it would make things easier. What I hadn't considered is that the burden of knowledge could actually make it worse, because you're aware of all the ways you could be talking about it wrong. It confirmed a worry I had from the very start of my experiment. If this is how I'm getting into football, I'll never be accepted as a football fan. Like an anime fan who hasn't read the manga, like an F1 fan who's only watched the Netflix show, like a sick dolphin who needs dialysis. I'm socialized incorrectly, and I will never swim with the pod. Conversation with Ryan was a blindingly obvious reality check. I don't automatically get along with video game fans, so football people aren't going to automatically get along with football people. If I was looking for a shortcut to feeling at ease talking to strangers, it was a stupid plan, but it didn't mean I had to give up on understanding football. I patiently advanced Patrick Ball through a full calendar year of practice sessions and geology labs. At this point, I was taken to the ominously named transfer portal, which I learned would allow me to transfer to a college that was more likely to allow me to touch a football, but I refused. I was going to make this work. After a big report card whoopsie that mirrored my very own first semester in college, I leveled out my GPA, and after weeks and weeks of busting my ass in practice and saying no to every party invitation I received, my coach trust caught up to the halfback player on the bench above me. In a series of WarioWare games I had thoroughly mastered, I ascended to the rank of HB3. A few games later, I got called out to the field for my first play. I was so scared I was going to set back all my progress with some horrific blunder.
He's got it, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Boston College.
They didn't give me the ball. I was just kind of out there for a second, but I was genuinely excited. I stayed on my academic practice grind until I caught up with our team's backup halfback, who I also trounced. From there, it was a series of exciting firsts. My first rushing yards, my first down, my first touchdown, my first win. I was having a lot of fun, and pretty soon I had moved up to the position of starting halfback, which meant I had even more opportunities to work on my jukes and jurdles. Yes, you in the Peaky Blinders hat.
So, Pat, did playing the football game help you understand and appreciate football?
Honestly, think it's too soon to tell. Gave it 110%. But I can say for sure that College Football 25's Road to Glory mode helped me appreciate a part of football. When I hopped out to play another exhibition game, there were still tons of layers of strategy and details and knobs and sliders I couldn't begin to comprehend. But I was a lot better at running the ball. The career mode's zoomed-in personal perspective protects you from the information overload you're normally faced with when you're in charge of a whole team. I think if I go back and play career mode campaigns for the other positions, which I kind of want to do, I might find an appreciation for their particular set of skills, like I did with my halfback. From there, maybe I could develop a complete picture. So even if I don't see myself ever becoming a full-on football guy, I can see myself getting to a place where I can watch a game without constantly wondering what I'm supposed to be enjoying. Next question, you in the stovepipe hat.
What about talking about football?
Well, that reminds me of something my friend Ryan told me.
Like, there's also a lot of weirdos that you are exposing yourself to by talking about football. There's a lot of big-time football fans who are not normal at all, by their own admission, I think.
Normal people are rarely normal. More often, they're weird, and probably have a hard time talking to strangers too. So really the trick might be simply appreciating the sport enough that I can ask them good questions, so they can talk about a thing they care about and I want to know about.
You see the game?
Haven't really been following this year. How's our running game look?
Great, running circles around him.
Nice. I saw a dog running around with an orange in its mouth earlier. We should get him on the field.
Can dogs even eat oranges?
I don't know, dude. I wouldn't think they'd like them.
I saw a dog eat most of a corn cob once.
This is the best conversation I've ever had.